Life can take a turn that you have never imagined. And sometimes things you haven't even read in a book or heard somebody's story of the same manner, but it's happening to you. You are the writer of the book. I'm talking about the book of Ruth chapter 1. We find a lady by the name Naomi. Naomi is married to a lovely husband. They have 2 sons. And for this matter, they are very happy. Then disaster struck the land. There's no food in the land. People are hungry. There is nowhere to get food. And in the neighboring countries, they can hear that in Moab, there is food. So everybody is struggling in Bethlehem, Judah. But Naomi and the husband decide to go to Moab. And they start their journey off to Moab together with their 2 sons. They are going out, people who are able. When people are able to leave their country for another country, those are not poor people. Those are people who are able to calculate, they're able to plan, they're able to see ahead and say, no, we can't stay here. But in the neighboring country, we can get food. So they all go. And when Naomi and the husband has gone, what happens in that land of Moab? Naomi's husband dies. And she is left with 2 sons. Then these 2 sons get for themselves wives, the daughters of the Moabites. And life is continuing. Before long, the son dies one after the other. And Naomi's despair increases and continues. And now she has these 2 daughters of the land of Moabites as her daughters-in-law. You know what that means? That these girls can easily change their minds and say, this is our home. We can get other men to marry us. There is nothing you can help us with. And by the way, Naomi gets this into her mind and she knows very well. And she tells the 2 girls that now it's my time to go back to my country and I can't go with you. Why can't I go with you? Because I can't bear more sons to marry you. And even if I would get a husband today and get a son today, in the next 1 year I have a son, would you wait for my son to grow until he is of age to marry you? The answer is obvious. You can't wait. So Naomi tells the 2 ladies, remain, go back to your parents, go back to your fathers. Let me go back to my country. And the girls insist and say, no, we can't go, we can't go. And one decides, Oprah decides, okay, it's true. What you're saying is true. It makes sense. I can't continue being with you. Let me go. And Oprah goes and Ruth remains. And Ruth still said, no, wherever you go, I'll go. Wherever you die, I'll also die there. I'll be buried there. And life changes. And we see Naomi turning back to Bethlehem, Judah, her original country. What am I saying here? In times of distress, in times of despair, let us turn to our God. Don't stick to your despair. Don't stick to where you are having problems. Don't stay there forever. Don't die in those problems. Turn to your God. Naomi remembered that, okay, Bethlehem, Judah didn't have food when we were living, but now I've heard God has blessed them. I am going there. It doesn't matter how they'll call me. And she's telling the people as she gets back that don't call me Naomi, call me Mara. Because I went out full and I'm coming back in bitterness. I'm coming in. It didn't matter to Naomi whether she would be called Mara or whatever other name. But the thing is, she was going back to her original home. She was going back to where there is the God that she served. She was going back to her maker, to her people. And dear friends, when life takes us into that direction of Naomi, that direction of despair, that direction that you look at yourself and you feel you're worthless, let me tell you, turn to God. It doesn't matter how people will call you. Naomi said, don't call me Naomi anymore. They were still coming, calling her Naomi, Naomi, Naomi. She said, don't call me Naomi anymore. Call me Mara. So she already knew, even if you call me Mara, it doesn't matter. I am back home. And I want to say, friend, that when life takes you to that direction, that you have not read about somebody who went through the same thing, that you have not seen somebody who went through, and it is all your own writing, your book of life is being written in this one, just like the one for Naomi, turn to God. In your despair, in your lowest moment, turn to God. In the time that you have no one to look to, when even Naomi is telling her daughters-in-law, go back to your people, let me remain alone, let me remain, I don't want anybody. I mean, even if I would want, what could I do? I can't bear more children, I have nothing in my hand. Turn to God. It saved Naomi. And she decided, I am going to Bethlehem, Judah, no matter what. And when she took her journey, when she took a turn and got into Bethlehem, Judah, we have a beautiful story about Naomi. And she didn't remain again a despair, a woman living in despair. Things changed. We are reading about her in the Bible today. And in those days, there were very many other women, and we don't have them in the Bible. But we have Naomi because of the decision she made to go back to Bethlehem, Judah, to go back to her God, to go back to her original roots. God has a purpose in your life. God has a reason for your existence. Things may not be smooth. Your life may be bumpy. It may not read like your neighbor's life. It may not sound like your sister's or your brother's life. It may not look like the life of other people that you work with. But the thing is, this is your life, and turn to God. God is still writing your book, and therefore when you turn to God, things will change. He will make a way out for you, a way that nobody knows. Don't look at people's ways of life and you want it to be a photocopy of someone. No, God does not make us a photocopy of other people. He makes you an original. And that is why sometimes the things you go through, you don't know anybody who has gone through something of that nature, because you are unique. And still God is writing a unique book about you. And like Naomi, turn to God and you will see this glorious thing that He is going to do. Naomi decided, I will not die in this despair. I will not, bury myself in this despair. The husband is gone, the sons are dead, the daughters-in-law are almost meaningless to her. She has nothing. And now she's going back to her home. And she knows, I am going there without these girls. But look, the moment she made that decision to turn back to God, things changed. And her life is now in a book we are writing, and this is a lasting impression that came through the life of Naomi. Your life will make a lasting impression if you believe in God, if you turn in God. Turn those hard things to God. Turn that despair to God. Turn that calamity to God. Let God have His way. Let God write your book that will make a lasting impression in the life of people to come and people around you. Be blessed as you trust God.